The chair recognizes the MHA for Harbour Grace, Port of Grace.
Thank you, Speaker. And it's also my pleasure to stand and talk to this bill, Bill 5, an Act to amend the Revenue Administrative Act number 2. But I'd be remiss if I didn't comment on the previous speaker's comments. Perhaps he could reach out to the former member for Twillingate to school him and to remind him about, it talks about reckless spending, about the Muskrat Falls and rate mitigation, which this province heavily relies on. And a lot of people don't know and forget that we receive $500 million from Ottawa each and every year to offset our power bills. And that is because of a PC conservative government, Muskrat Falls, which we are still digging out of debt for, which I might add. So when the Speaker talks about reckless spending, I ask him to reflect his memory back to the Conservative government prior, which we're still in debt for. So just some food for thought there to the previous new member, and congratulations on his election. But that said, Speaker, we know that families and businesses and communities across Newfoundland and Labrador are still feeling the squeeze from the high costs, especially at the pumps. We know what's happening in the Middle East, and also I would like to extend our thoughts and prayers as well to Newfoundlanders and Labradorians who are currently in the Middle East. One who is actually a friend of mine, a local person from Bay Roberts, is currently living over there in the Middle East. He's actually been in the news to give updates, and it's Mr. Darren Butt and his family. So our thoughts and our prayers are with them, of course, that they will return home safely and continue to live safely, those Newfoundlanders and Labradorians who are currently in the Middle East. But we're also hoping that the government is not going to stop there. We do know that this is not new legislation. This has been done for multiple budgets now as a cost of living, to support cost of living measures, which we've done, for years and years. As well, we didn't stop there. We also cut the registration price in half for when people want to register their vehicles. That's another measure that we did. Speaker, the member from Terra Nova is chirping, and it's hard to stay focused now. But so again, this is my time to speak. I'm sure he'll be getting up and speaking because he likes to speak as well here in this honourable house. He's my friend, but I'll ask him to keep his chirping at a minimal while I'm talking. But again, and also something, we talk about seniors, this would not only support the overall cost of living, but the other initiatives, we want them to go further. And again, this is not new legislation, it's something that we've done for quite some time. And there were reasons perhaps why it wasn't done permanently by a previous administration, because as we know, we often work in conjunction with other levels of government, in particular the federal government. And there's continuous mention of a federal carbon tax, and again, and with a backstop. And there were reasons preventing our administration from doing such things. But again, we're happy to see them continue the work that we've started, again, for the past decade, because as we know, a lot of times, much of the legislation and much of the cost and the funding and the budgets that are carried over, takes time. And they've been in office over 100 days or 130, I think, whatever that number is. So they are getting to, I guess, come in and continue the work and actually announce the work that this previous administration has done. So we'll certainly, support this bill as we do everything, and we can do everything to support the cost of living, to support Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. But again, we're calling on them to go further with their other cost-saving measures. Again, the registration of vehicles. We do know that there was a promise made, of course, in our platform to double the seniors' benefit from $400, which we brought in, and we were going to double that to $800. We haven't seen that happen just yet, but we're hoping that there's going to be initiatives like this come down in their budget, because as we know, a lot of people are suffering right now. And again, we see the cost of everything is going up, whether it be fuel, whether it be groceries, insurance payments, you name it, all the payments and obligations that Newfoundlanders and Labradorians have on a monthly basis. It is getting tougher, but unfortunately, salaries and pensions are not going up. Those are not changing. So I hear from my constituents, of course, and these are people who have good jobs and 2 people working in the household. But again, it certainly is a challenge. We applaud to see them going in the right direction, that they're continuing the good work that we did start. But again, we ask them to take it further, because as we know, the bill repeals and replaces Section 51 of the Revenue Administrative Act to set out a clear, itemized list of pre-liter tax rates on different grades of gasoline. And Section 51 of the Revenue Administrative Act is repealed, and the following is substituted: on propane fuel, grade of gasoline, a tax of 0.07 per liter; on all other grades of gasoline, a tax of 0.075 per liter. But again, this is good to see this go in the right direction, but we certainly will be looking for more initiatives to support Newfoundlanders and Labradorians on cost of living measures here in our province. So it is good. Again, I applaud them for continuing the work that we started, and we will be certainly supporting this bill. Thank you, Speaker.